Hi there, this is Ray with Easy Simple Mechanic, and today we're going to work on is this little Honda 50. It's like 1970s. Picked that up recently. We're going to try and get this thing working, see if we can't get it running for my grandson. He needs to start learning how to ride, so we're going to see if we can't get that going. So let's get started. Started on this 50. We went ahead and got it cleaned up a little bit so that we'd have a cleaner work environment. First thing I'm gonna do is check and see the condition of the fuel, because if the fuel's bad, we're gonna have to drain it and put in some good fuel before we get started. So let's pull that hose off the bottom, and it also looks like it's got a little rip in it right there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull that off so we can check the condition of the fuel. And this hose is on there. Sometimes I like to use a little screwdriver just to break that seal loose right here. There we go, see that? There. All right. We're gonna go ahead and take it off on the other side of the carburetor as well, so we can see what length of hose we need. Okay, so we got this hose off right here. That's what this little spring is here for, is to keep that from happening, but apparently it wasn't enough. So this fuel smells pretty bad, so we're going to go ahead and drain it. Well, that does it for the gas. There wasn't much in there, which is good, but I put just a little bit, a tinge in there to kind of thin it out some. The gas that was in there was pretty smelly. I'm just hoping that the carburetor didn't get any of that old gas in it, or we're gonna have to tear into it. Okay, so that's it for the gas out of the tank. It looks like it's still holding gas, so we're good there. Okay, so we got this little drain plug. If you guys ever store one of these, should shut off the fuel. Pull this little plug out of here so that it'll let the fuel out of the bowl of the carburetor. Apparently this wasn't done on this, because I sprayed some of this carb cleaner into the fuel line, and it's plugged. So what that's telling me is that the float is stuck shut. So we're gonna have to pull the carburetor off to be able to get that float unstuck and cleaned out. I was hoping we didn't have to do that, but we're gonna have to do it. There we are, carburetor off. Okay, so we got this carburetor off here. It has a seal on here, which is good, so it doesn't use a gasket to the manifold. But we just got to take these two bolts off the bottom here, or screws, so we can get in there and see what's going on with that float. Okay, I want to be careful because I'm trying not to damage the gasket so we can reuse it. Oh, it's an O-ring, so that's good. But yeah, look at there. See the gunk all in here? that just, all that gas just dried up in here. And so we're gonna have to clean all that out, clean all the jets out, and get all of this crusty stuff out of there. Anyway, let's see. See that? We don't want to run it with all of that. So let me clean this all up. This float is the one that was sticking, or the needle underneath there isn't letting any fuel in. So I'm gonna have to pull this this float off. Do that, just a little screw here. That's probably far enough. And there we go. There's the needle. There's the needle and seat. And now we can just clean all these up, and we'll put it back together. I'm gonna pull this jet out right here to make sure that I get it clean. And then we'll just try and clean it, everything else. Now let's see. Nope, it's all clogged up in there. So I'm gonna have to stick some little wire or something in there to clean out that passage all the way through there on these things. All right, let me get this cleaned up and then see if we can get this put back together. Okay, so we got this carburetor all cleaned up. Now I did remove this jet right in here. It just takes a little screwdriver so that we could just pour some of that carb cleaner down there. And then I used my air hose to make sure that we cleaned that out. As you can see that it's nice and clean, that hole. And we just put carb cleaner in there and then use compressed air. Now the float was not stuck, but the inlet here was plugged up, so I had to stick a little wire down in there in the inlet and in here to get that finally cleared out. Poured some carb cleaner in there and used the compressed air to blow that out. And then on the side here we have these two screws. Now the way you work these is you run those all the way down until they stop turning, and then you count the number of turns till it stops turning. So you turn them in as you count. Like let me show you how we'll do this here. Before you take them out, you want to just take this and turn it. And see, like that line there, if you turn it halfway around, it's half a turn. So if you turn this all the way like this, it's half a turn. And you count how many times you turn that all the way till it just stops. Okay, once it stops, then you measure where it was. Then you go ahead and take it all the way out. You clean in there, and you do the same thing with this one. And you will, yeah, it was right there. Then you'll have them where they were, and then that way when you go to put it back together, at least it is where it was as an initial startup. And then if we need to adjust the idle or mixture, we'll go ahead and do that when we get it running. But typically you just run these, and typically on most of these carburetors, it's usually anywhere between 1.5 to 3 turns. This one wound up being a lot. And so these were actually 3.25 turns. So it's quite a bit. Maybe it was never adjusted correctly, but we'll go ahead and put them there for now till we get it started. And then we'll see what we need to do. So that's that. We got the air flowing. A way to check the air is to actually just blow in this hole and make sure that it's clear. So there we are, folks. We get that little carburetor back together. We got it mounted the way we took it off. Got some new hose on it. So now all we got to do is get some fuel in it and get it off of this little stand and see if this little thing won't come to life. We might just try and kick it over. If not, we might have to check for spark and check that spark plug. If that still doesn't work, then we'll have to pull this little thing right here called where the valves are, and make sure that the valves are opening and closing and that we've got some good compression. We'll adjust those valves. Anyway, let's get this fueled up. Okay, so we got this thing running, and already I could tell both of these are off. So what we want to do is we want to work the idle where it's down in the idle circuit, right? So we gotta let this down to where it's in the idle circuit, and then we take this as the mixture screw, and we want to turn it in to where, okay, right to where it doesn't make a change anymore. Adjusted, and as you can see, we got some good power out of this little 50 Mini. I think it's a good starter bike for the grandson, and we'll see how he does on it. When you grab this gas, don't grab it like that. Grab it like this, okay? So when you give it gas, you can't give it too much more. You gotta work real hard at it. That way, if you have to let go, your wrist not naturally going to want to give it more gas. Okay? Okay, so now push down on that left. Hold it with this. Put this foot down. Okay, push down on that. Now you control the gas, but keep your hand like that. Remember where the brake is? And if you panic, just let go of the gas. Just turn it back this way, okay? Yeah, you have to put your foot down. That one is usually the one you put down, okay? Because you're going to have this one on the brake. It's like riding a bike. Ready? Just give a little gas, just a little bit. Okay, go. Turn over this way. Brakes. Brakes. Good job, bud. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this episode. We took care of that little Mini 50. So hopefully the grandson will have a good time on that going forward. Please like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.